The idea that Muslims will build a mosque at ground zero, I think, is symptomatic of the um, direction that America is going to go. That is, America will become a Muslim nation because there's too many people that are afraid of Islam. I mean, America, starting with George Bush after 9/11. I think his reaction to Islam after 9/11 shows that um, America does not have the resolve to defeat Islam, and we will be defeated by Islam because of that. What Bush should have done at 9/11, he should have identified Islam uh, to be a satanic religion. He should have known that 9/11 is the direct result of Muhammad's teaching and practices. And until you're ready to uh, defeat Islam at the source, then you have no choice but to eventually succumb. The um, courage that it takes, I think, revolves around identifying um, the source that Islam was founded by Satan to destroy people and to divide and destroy. But the main purpose for Islam, and it's stated in the Bible, by the way, is to prevent you from believing in the Son of God. That's one of the verses in the Quran that speaks specifically to the purpose of the Quran, and it very specifically says the purpose of the Quran is to prevent you from believing in the Son of God. So when you consider, number one, that the original purpose, Islam, is to make sure that people end up in hell and they don't have a savior come Judgment Day. And number two, just it's Satan's pattern. It's always been, if you study ancient religions. And this is why I always recommend people to read the book Spirit of the Rainforest by Mark Ritchie, because that's a first-hand account of shaman culture dealing with satanic spirits. And the spirits would lead groups of people to try to slaughter one another, and there would be an attack in the middle of the night, surprise attack, and people would get hatcheted to death. And the survivors, whoever was able to escape, after they recuperate, they would retaliate with another surprise attack on the other group, and so on and so forth. This is really what Islam is doing on a world scale. There's slaughter of anybody who doesn't adhere to these certain almost arbitrary standards. I say almost arbitrary because you certainly can justify any of the killings that take place in Islamic societies by using the Quran. The Quran justifies those things, and the Hadith justifies the killings and the slaughtering. So this is typical of a satanic method of doing things, is to get people to feel justified in killing one another. So we need a leadership in America that is willing to identify Islam and define Islam in those terms. Otherwise, we will be defeated by Islam, which is what I think is going to happen. There's just way too many cowards living in America. It's sort of like, for some reason, that's where all the cowards ended up in Europe and America. I don't know why that is. There's too few of us who are willing to just come out in public and say, hey, Islam is evil, needs to be stopped, and there should be no Islam in America, period. Because moderate Islam is the Trojan horse of the radical Islam. And moderate Islam is what blinds people in America to thinking that that the moderate aspects are really what typifies Islam, when in fact the moderate aspects are the thing that enables the radical Islam to get a foothold and to thrive in America. I mean, look at the treatment of this Nadal Hussein or Hassan, the Fort Hood killer. He's been justified by the media, and trying to come up with reasons. He's been trying, the media in America and the government tries to disassociate him with Islam. That's a recipe for defeat, and I am predicting that that's exactly what's going to happen to America. They'll let this mosque be built, and that is just the beginning of the foothold that Islam takes in America. Too many cowards. I'm sorry, that's the way it is. That's the assessment. That's the truth of the matter. The President Bush, when that 9/11 happened, he should have identified Islam as the culprit. We should have bombed Mecca and Medina. We should have bombed actually the 100 most holy sites of Islam should have been destroyed within 72 hours of 9/11. And I say 100 because there's one for each of the names of Allah. He, according to the Quran, he has 100 beautiful names. So we'll destroy the 100 most sacred places of Islam. That's what we have to do. You have to completely disenfranchise those people. I mean, that's how they determine whether the religion is true or not. If it's defeated, if it's summarily defeated, they will finally surrender and say, yes, okay, we're wrong. Islam is not true. But it's only going to happen under those circumstances. Now, according to the Bible, that's what Jesus is going to do. I mean, he's going to come back and destroy. I mean, Jesus is the ultimate jihadist. He will come back and destroy those following the false prophet Muhammad. In the meantime, as it is in heaven, it should be on earth, and that's what we should be doing as a Christian nation. If there's any of us Christians left, we should be doing whatever we can to destroy Islam. And as individuals, that means in a rhetoric war, but as a government, that means in actual warfare. The Islam should be defeated by the American government militarily, defeated, with the use of powerful bombs, and it should be a religious war. And I think this is why another reason why we're going to lose this war to Islam is because we don't want to define it in terms of religious war. Well, God knows what's going on in our nation. We have become a godless nation. We're kicking God out of the country, and God's not going to allow that. At least you could say this for the Muslims. They have a false God, it's Satan, but at least they're willing to name their God. That's more than we could say about Americans. See, Americans should say, okay, we really are subject to the God of the Bible, the true God, and that's the way we're going to do things. So I think that God, the true God, is saying, okay, if you won't have me, the true God, then I'm going to allow you to be subjected to a false God, which is Islam, and here it comes, and it's God's tool for punishing America, and we don't have the guts to withstand.